So excited to hear from Stephanie. I just love watching you guys shine and thrive. I don't really know what she's talking about. I just like to let her go and do whatever's on her heart. So I'm just going to let you take over. Do you know how to share your screen?
I click the green share.
Yep. And maybe y'all can talk about the group y'all are doing because that is so freaking cool.
Oh, that's so much fun.
I can't wait to hear about it. So I'm just going to shut up and let you do your thing.
Okay. Well, we can talk about that at the end. Is this going to work? Okay. Is it working?
Looks great.
Do you see the presenter view?
Yep, I sure do. You're a pro.
Wait, do you see the notes?
Nope.
Okay. Oh, wait, I'm not at the beginning.
Just hit the arrows back.
Okay.
Ooh, I like that. Okay.
I really needed Mary Alice to do this for me, but okay, guys. So Macy told me to talk about just speak from my heart and what's been on my heart. And for me, this journey of coaching and social media world has challenged me and grown me to really be me and embrace who I am. So I'm going to talk about being authentically you. And each of you were made on purpose and for a purpose. All of our purposes and reasons are different. Our paths will look different, and the people that we impact in the end will be different. But if you focus on who you are and use your gifts, then you will be living in what God's made you to be. Mm-hmm. So, in order to be authentically you, you have to know who you are. And last summer, I got this book, Personality Plus by Florence Littauer. I had already learned about the temperaments and the 4 different temperaments, but reading the book really helped me understand them even more. And so I have a link. I will put the link in the Facebook group where you can go and take a quick test to kind of find out your color. The book doesn't use the colors, but she uses the different names, if you've ever heard of them: choleric, melancholy, sanguine, and phlegmatic. But knowing your color helps you understand yourself better and know who you are. And then another one is the Enneagram. I feel like it's kind of newly all the rage, although it's been around for thousands of years apparently. And this is different numbers, based on different numbers. A really good book for that is The Road Back to You. You can get both of these on Amazon. There is not a test online. There is a test online that you can take for the Enneagram, but what I have learned from listening to podcasts and reading is that it is not going to give you a very accurate representation of your Enneagram number. Enneagram numbers are based on what your motivations are behind your actions. So what understanding both of these can help is it helps you recognize your strengths and your weaknesses, know what they are, and help you to operate better from your strengths. So funny story about this, just today when I was trying to put this together, my strengths: not organizing, not doing slides, not doing any of the graphical stuff, which my Treat Yourself girls know already. So when I was calling my husband to help me with this, I'm like, I'm writing about strengths and weaknesses, and this is my weakness. So this is like, I need to get better at it, but it's not where my strength is. Also, understanding your weaknesses is what makes you relatable and show that you are human. And exposing that is attractive to others. Also, it can help you learn to recognize others' strengths and weaknesses. This will help you with comparison, because you can recognize, like, oh, she's good at that because she's made that way. And I'm not good at that because I'm not made that way, but I'm good at this because this is how I'm made and she's not. You know what I'm saying? And it also helps with others because it will help you lead them better. If you understand what makes someone else tick, then you can relate to them better and lead them better. So the next thing you need to do in being authentically you is you need to stay in your lane. And what I mean by that is stop comparing. So horses, as you can see in this picture, when they're in a horse race, and even like if you're in a horse and carriage going down the street, they have blinders on their eyes. So they can't look behind them to see who's coming up or who's next to them. They can just see what is in front of them. And that is how they focus on running their race and staying in their lane. So that is what I mean by stay in your lane. And whatever stage of life you're in, embrace that. That is your lane for now. And God has made each one of us unique. So for the stage of life, for example, moms, which a lot of us are, don't expect your feed and your stories to look like someone who does not have kids, because we are not in that stage of life anymore. So it's also good to know who your audience is and who you are reaching out to, and relate to them based on where you are in your life. And so focus on you and use the gifts that you have been given to make an impact. So stay in your lane, put on your blinders, and run your race at your own pace. The next thing that can help you be authentically you is you need to understand your story. Your story is the most powerful tool that you have. We all have unique qualities about our stories. We all have struggles that we have faced and challenges that we have overcome that have shaped us into who we are. And if we allow God to use that, then that is what is going to make an impact in other people's lives. So for me personally, it's my kids' food allergies. It is counseling. And if you saw my stories yesterday, Wayne and I, about 4 years ago, decided to get out of debt and stop living with payments, credit card, car payment, whatever, and get on a budget. And so these are things that they are just part of my life. They are part of my story, but they are what I am using to reach out to others who are going to connect with me on those levels. So for you, it could be anything, photography, cooking. If you're good at organizing, Lord help. People like me need people good at organizing, staging, fashion. Maybe you're a softball mom, mom of toddlers, mom of teens, runner. I don't know if Kelly's on here, but I love how she is a planner and loves planners and talks about planners and how she makes plans. Maybe you love Disney. There are so many Disney lovers out there that could totally be your thing. Christmas obsessed. Who wouldn't? I want to see Christmas stuff in July. You know, it can work year round. So just anything that makes that makes you unique, but is authentic to you, and that's how other people will connect with you. Guys, got to be vulnerable. Freedom is on the other side of vulnerability, because when we have struggles and we hold them all in and we don't share them, they take control of our lives. I know that all of us are on here to be an inspiration and be encouraging and be uplifting, but it is okay to share when things are hard for you. That is when people are going to connect with you more, because if they view you as a perfect robot who never has any struggles, they're not going to connect with you. They're going to say, well, that's good for her, but I could never do that. I could never live that way. Like, oh, getting up at 4 whatever in the morning, that's so easy for her. I could never do that. When actually it's hard for all of us. And showing our weaknesses is what makes us seem more approachable to people, because it shows that we are human and that we don't have it all together. Especially as women, we want to know we are not the only ones going through whatever it is that we are going through. I feel like this became really huge when I became a mom and Will was a baby. And moms are always comparing, are they sleeping yet? Are you sleeping? Oh, mine was sleeping through the night at 6 weeks. And I'm like, well, la-di-da, mine still doesn't sleep through the night. And that was a really big struggle for me when I was a new mom. I really began to believe the lie that I was alone, that I was the only one up at 2 a.m. and again at 4 a.m. and again at 6 a.m. and not sleeping, that everyone else's other babies were perfect and slept through the night. And when I reached out for help, that was when I started hearing stories from like, oh, well, yeah, mine didn't really sleep through the night. And then you also understand that people have different definitions of what sleeping through the night is. For someone, that might be for 5 hours. For me, I was looking for like 12, which, doesn't happen. So whatever it is, we all want to know that we are not the only one going through what that is. And last week, I got real vulnerable and shared about how I yell at my kids. I know that we all do it. Every parent has yelled at their children at some point or another. And so obviously I'm not talking about the like, don't touch that, you're going to die. Not that kind of yelling, but the like, oh, I'm really angry right now kind of yelling. I was at my Wednesday morning Bible study a couple weeks ago and just got really convicted about how me yelling at my kids is just as bad as other sin. And I just started crying, and I went and spoke to the prayer chairman, and she is in the same stage of life. She has a husband who travels. And when I was looking at her, tears in my eyes, saying that I yell at my kids, she, looked at me and said, me too. And we just kind of had this moment where it was like, that is what I needed. I needed to know that someone else is struggling with it as much as I am. Because I do love Jesus, and I totally respect the fact that if you don't, you're not going to relate to what I'm talking about. That's cool. But I want my kids to know that I love Jesus, and I don't want to mess them up. It's just a lot of weight to carry. And so having that moment with her gave me freedom. And that is what I mean by freedom is on the other side of vulnerability. And then even taking it a step further and putting it out there on Instagram and Facebook. Maybe, I guess it was about a month ago, because it was before Wayne went out of town. I was crying one day to him that I have this fear that my next door neighbor who doesn't like me is going to find me on Instagram or Facebook and say she's a fraud because she yells at her kids. I hear her yelling at her kids. And Wayne was like, that's not going to happen. But it was like a genuine fear of mine. And when I shared this post, I wasn't even thinking about that. But afterward, I was like, I don't have that anymore, because I've put it out there. I've said it. And now I'm not going to she doesn't even know she has this control over me. Like, it's so ridiculous that we let other people's opinions of us dictate what we do or who we believe we are. And so by putting it out there, that fear lost the stronghold over my heart, over my mind. And good grief, I got so many messages of other moms saying, I needed to hear this. I have the same struggles. I mean, so much. So also in being authentic, you cannot try to be like someone else. If you try to be like someone else, it will come across as disingenuous and fake. People can tell when you are being inauthentic. It is okay to take inspiration from others, but then you need to make it your own. So for me, an example of this was when I first started watching Macy's stories. I loved her little energize in the morning to the music. And I'm like, oh, I enjoy that. So when I decided to do the coaching thing, I thought I would try that. Well, I found myself struggling to not like break it down and sing when the music was on, because that is me. And anyone who knows me knows that if the music is on, I am moving to it. I'm singing to it. I love music. It is in my soul. So I decided I'm going to start singing and dancing. And obviously I'm just lip syncing. But because that's what I would normally do. If you were at my house and that song came on, that's what I would do. So that is taking my inspiration from Macy and then making it my own. And so if that is not you, then it will come across that you are trying to force it. So you have to embrace who you are and be okay with you being different. And that all goes back again to the personalities and knowing who you are and knowing what makes you tick, and then living and leading out of those strengths. So lastly, you got to take action. Don't ignore the nudges. And for me, like I said, I'm a Jesus follower. It's the only filter that I can see life through. So for me, that's the Holy Spirit. And when Macy and I first had the conversation about me thinking about becoming a coach, I said I was really passionate about, like, I wanted to reach other moms of kids with food allergies. And she was like, oh, that is your thing. Yes, you got to do that. You got to do that. Well, then, okay, so I sign up and I start doing coaching thing. Well, I was so overwhelmed in the beginning. It was too much. I didn't know how to balance it all. And then I started thinking, well, I don't want to limit myself to just allergy moms. So I'm going to focus on building a business first, and then I will do the allergy thing. Maybe I'll start a blog, down the road. So fast forward to the call with Allie a few weeks ago, and I asked the question, how do you reach the people that are like you, that you want to reach? And Macy totally called me out and said, she's an allergy mom, and that's what she needs to be doing. And you guys, literally the next day, I was like, oh my gosh, she's right. I got to do it. I put a post out about the beginning of how we discovered my first son's food allergies. And since then, I kind of decided I'm just going to post once a week about it. But it has increased my followers tremendously, and it has connected me to food allergy people. And now I'm making these connections on Instagram with other food allergy moms. Because for me, I was trying to do what Macy says to do, which is great for your stage of life. Like people like Callie Dollar and that's not who I need to be searching for, because that is not where I am in life. And so it took me, 3 months to finally take that step. And then when I did, the reward was immediate. So don't ignore the nudges. Share your ideas and dreams with someone who will hold you accountable. I have big dreams for this, and I hope that you do too. And by sharing it, it's kind of like the vision board idea. By sharing it with someone, it makes it a little bit more real, which is scary, but it also, just speaking things out loud gives them power and makes your brain start to think about like, okay, that's the goal that I am working toward. And the decisions that I make are going to line up with that. And I love this quote from St. Augustine that you've got to pray like it all depends on God, because it does, and work like it all depends on you. And the last thing for me with this quote specifically is I stepped into this coaching thing because I felt like God was leading me there. And the second that God is not in this for me, I don't want any part of it, because it is not about me. It is about him, and it is about him using me and my story and my struggles and giving me a platform to reach others who have faced similar scenarios or are going to. So I am doing this because of his leading in my life. And the second I push him aside and try to do my own thing, I will fail. And it also could be that God has something else for me. So I just feel like not putting all of your eggs in this basket of, I have to get getting caught up in the number of followers and the algorithm and all of that stuff, because at the end of the day, God is bigger than all of that. He has a plan for you. He has a plan for you in this. And if you are putting on your blinders, focusing, staying on your lane, running your own race at your own pace, he will be glorified, and you will find peace and freedom in all of that. When I have gotten caught up in followers and algorithm, and I got to learn all this stuff, and I got to learn Instagram, and I got to watch all these things, my anxiety has increased. My stress has increased. The lies get louder in my head and start taking root in my heart. And then I start operating out of the lies and making decisions based on the lies rather than the filter of truth that God has called me to this. So I want to leave you guys with the encouragement that, yes, we need to work like it all depends on us, but we've got to pray like it all depends on God. And especially if you are a Christian or a Jesus follower, the prayer needs to be, God, lead me and lead my each step, and praying that he gets the glory in this and not you, not me. That's all I have. I'm terrible at ending things.
Oh, that was
so.
I feel like crying. So good. There's so many things that we were all chatting in here, saying all the things that we loved.
Oh, really?
So good.
So good.
What are y'all's thoughts or questions or anything? Because I'm like, I need to like rewatch that and process it. That was amazing. Do y'all have any thoughts?
I can't see the chats.
Okay, so let's see.
So I had a thought. Miss Nicole.
Yeah.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
So I just wanted to say, like, Stephanie, thank you so much for sharing what you did share, because I truly feel like it like literally speaks to exactly where I've been feeling. Like, I've shared with you guys before my profession and like my PhD and all my stuff kind of can be a little tricky with like then doing this and like putting myself out there, and I get such great feedback, but then from other people I get really negative feedback, and I really appreciate you sharing, because literally, I'm just going to be real with y'all. I have been like struggling with this, and I feel like it's shown up in my Instagram with me like not being real, not showing up. And I was talking to RJ, and he's like, you're doing this to help people. Like, that's what you're doing it for. He's like, you need to ignore when people critique things, or you need to ignore the Instagram followers or the weird messages. He's like, you're just doing this to help people, and like, that's who you are.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say I appreciate you sharing, because I feel like maybe I need to go back and listen to everything again too, but so helpful.
Yeah, I totally agree. It can be so easy to get caught up in something you can't even control. Like,
Yeah.
you cannot control that. And my favorite thing you talked about is vulnerability. Like, the minute anything comes to light, the minute anything that you're struggling with is brought out to light, it dies. It dies instantly. I've experienced it. I've watched other people experience that, and yet it's still so hard. But all those stories were incredible examples. I loved about your neighbor. That's so cool.
I mean, that is real life right there.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't like me, and I have.
How is that even possible?
I know. Who doesn't like you?
Our sons had an issue, and so I won't let them play, and so I'm a bad mom.
No. Which you're a great mom, by the way. I wrote that in here.
Oh, thank you. I can't see anything.
So
Macy.
if you go down where you shared the screen, there's a button that says chat.
I don't even, like, that is gone now, where I showed the screen.
So move your mouse up, and it will say stop share. Like, just, do you see it at the very top? Like, just move your mouse up towards the top of the screen. It's a little red thing that will pop down. Do you see it?
No.
It's okay.
Oh, I was blocking it. Stop share. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
You see chat now?
Yes. Oh, wow. That is a lot of chats.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to anything you said. We were just chatting away.
I know, right?
Apparently.
Totally kidding.
Enneagram. So there is a podcast about it that the authors of that book have. But there's an Instagram account too, Exo Enneagram.
Are you just like super interested in personality tests?
I'm so interested in it because I love understanding why people are the way they are.
Yeah. Make sure you post those books again in the Facebook group, because I need to look at that. Because it'll help me deal with people better if I know what they are, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's so true. It's about other people. It's not about you. Let's see. Anything else that y'all said? Mary Alice had some good points too. Oh, embrace your stage of life. That's so good. And that's what's so good about this business, is that like each stage of your life, you just embrace it and it comes along with you. Nothing else changes, but just embrace it and grow.
That's not who I am.
Someone's
got some TV going on.
Yeah. Sorry, I think it was Carrie. Yeah.
She's like mute.
Anybody else want to have anything to say? It was so good, Stephanie.
You are
I
sweet.
can't believe you just did this today. She texted me this morning. She's like, I don't have it. Or last night.
I knew what I wanted to talk about, but
the idea is the hardest part. You've seen my slides. They're black and white. You did way better than me.
Well, it was just
Stephanie, I thought it was so good to hear, like, just from another mom, like, putting yourself out there. Like, it's
sure. So I love that you've got some traction with food allergies too. That's awesome. The niche is key.
It is. And I thought that it would limit me. And that's what is like, no, actually it's what sets me apart.
Absolutely. If your ideal client is everyone, then it's no one. You gotta be like very specific for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, tell me about this group y'all are doing, because it is I'm like, okay, I want to do this with the group now. Like, it's such a good idea. I love it so much. Is it happening right now?
Yes.
Okay, how many girls do y'all have? Fill me in.
How many do we have?
15.
15?
Some of
Are
them
y'all like alternating like that's what you're doing? So I mean,
we have like a daily challenge that they have to post in the challenge tracker or the challenge tracker. Then like each time that they post, like they get a point. We're keeping track of their points, and then we're doing giveaways like each
so
week.
cool. Oh my gosh.
But we've opened it to like everyone.
It's a high five. That is so awesome.
So like I don't really have anyone that's signed up yet, but I have like my active client in there. So like if they like post what they're doing on their social media and tag us, it's like an extra credit point. And then which no one's done yet, I don't think, but it's only day 2.
Still.
And then we're gonna keep like letting people come in, and then I guess we don't really have a plan for at the end of the month. I guess do it again. I don't know.
You help them set up with another plan. Are they all doing one program, or are they all doing different stuff?
Different program.
Great.
Whatever.
Kind of with the next program. Is anybody doing an 80-day obsession? I'm getting a lot of pushback with 80-day obsession because of the holidays.
Well, I'm still doing it.
Right, but most people don't want to start it right now, which I get, but I still think it's the best one, so I don't know. Awesome. Stephanie,
Hey, Macy, I'm doing, oh, sorry.
no, what's up?
It's hard not seeing you guys. I was going to say, I got the same pushback with the 80 day. So I started 80 day with girls in September. And then October, I don't remember who I was talking to about this. Might have been Kelly, but I offered girls in September to do like whatever program. And then I offered girls just in October to do Lift 4 for 8 weeks before Thanksgiving.
That's smart.
And they were all like really excited about it. And then I told them they could start 80 day, like, you know, more closer to the new year.
Yeah.
That seemed to like, people were like cool with that. They were like, oh, I love that. Okay, that works great.
Okay, Kaylin just chatted. I'm doing a challenge of mine as well. It seems, what do you mean a challenge, Kaylin? It seems to be really helping, and it's already gotten 2 Shakeology orders from it. That's all. Oh, she's going to share what she's doing in the group. Awesome.
Yeah, I did find because a lot of the girls in my challenge group are like repeat customers, so it wasn't really signing up for another challenge where I would get like a, what is it called? Just a challenge package. Yeah, sorry, I'm like ADD today. But so I did it where there's like a prize at the end of the month, and basically I'll do like a drawing, and the more things that you do throughout it,
Love it.
The more points that you get. So like reordering Shakeology was the most points. It was like 10 points or 10 entries into the drawing. So
that's good.
Yeah, I'll share mine with you guys because there's like really, like I really thought about it, and it seems to be working. Like they're really participating in the group now.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, let us know your point system. That's a really good idea. I like that.
This is why this group doing it together was so good for me, because I cannot come up
I know.
like the points and all of this stuff. I'm like, my brain just wants to explode, but I want to, but I want to, and so we're all able to bring our different strengths, guys. Personality, it's everything.
I agree, especially when you are a mom and your kids, and you know it can reach your kids.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I mean, I don't know, but I get it. I get why it would be valuable. Okay, awesome. Any other thoughts? Gosh, that was good, Stephanie.
Thank you.
It was so good.
I really want to say, Macy, I meant to say this at the beginning.
What?
I really want to thank you for the opportunity, because this, even though it was stressful trying to put the slides together, this is what I want out of coaching.
Yeah.
Being able to
Share.
pour. So thank you.
100%. And that's what I want for y'all too. Like, I know that I grow the most when I am learning and explaining it to other people, right? Same with like, it's how you learn and process things. And I feel like I get the most out of a call when I do it.
Yeah.
And I want y'all to be getting the most out of the calls when you do it as well. So they're huge. I can't wait to ask the next person. Oh. All right, y'all. Thanks so much for jumping on. I look forward to these weeks or these day every single week. Y'all are the bomb, and I'll see y'all next week.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, guys.